Am I the only one that never felt that this doll was at all scary? Annabelle Creation is the next film on what has become known as the Conjuring universe. And yeah, at this point, I'm getting sick of anything related to the Warrens. The film is about the birth and first victims of Annabelle the doll. And honestly, I have never cared about Annabelle even when she was first introduced in the Conjuring. She was the absolute low point of that film, and yeah, I skipped Annabelle for that very reason. The greatest thing about the Conjuring films is James Wan's use of atmosphere to keep you in suspense whenever a scare is occurring. But this movie misses the mark entirely without his directing style to lead it. Instead, the movie feels like any other horror film that got released around this time, with nothing to set it apart. Whenever it tries to set up an atmosphere, it just becomes a jump scare fest with no build-up and no real suspense behind it. It has all of the worst aspects of the Conjuring films front and center. It misses the brilliance of how Wan can terrify you and falls back on predictability and scary monsters. But the thing about showing your monster is that it stops being scary after the first time you show it. That's the very reason why stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th just kinda became comedies. The movie misses the build-up and tries to scare you solely with how creepy the doll is, and after so many movies of it, it has really lost its appeal. The story for the Conjuring films were always the weakest aspect of them, always being predictable and needlessly complicated with how the story wants to present itself. And the whole shtick of it being a true story always took me out of the film, because some of the stuff that goes on is always so insane that it took me out. The Conjuring 1 and 2 kinda wears it as a badge of honor. But luckily this movie doesn't try to staple this as a true story at all, which slightly works in its favor when suspending my disbelief. But where the movie fails is attempting to make the story interesting in the slightest. It tries to make the bland story the focus of it, trying to explain every little detail about Annabelle. In these kinds of movies, the more you try to give a backstory to something paranormal like this, the less scary it becomes. From what I've heard, this prequel is a better movie than the original Annabelle, and if that's the case, then I feel terrible for anybody who actually watched the original, because this is far from being a solid film. This gets a 3 out of 10. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more reviews, then click the playlist to see my other stupid opinions. Alright, see you next video.